9 games of hoops on a Wednesday night. We're going to go through all of it today. Shlomo is not here with us again. He is still in transit. Kind of sounds like hell, if I'm being honest. But listen, to each their own. My name is Levi Jacob. I want to welcome in our very special guest and heavy Lakers correspondent. If you would care to introduce yourself.
Wow, that's like the title I've been striving for my whole life. Heavy Lakers correspondent.
I
Uh,
think it also could be demeaning, That wasn't like what the intention was, but we're here in Asto.
no. I take it with a badge of honor. He's Jason Blatt, what'd you say? Heavy Lakers correspondent, reporting for duty.
So Jason, let's just jump into it. Let's jump into it. We're gonna go with game of the night. It was a big discussion. We did a whole fight about it for about an hour and a half. I'm just kidding. It was a microphone problem. Spurs Magic. Uh, Luke Cornett, backup to Wemby, former Boston Celtic, blocked a last second Franz Wagner shot to hold off the Magic. The whole team got super hype about it. It was pretty exciting. Um, top performers. Franz Wagner had 25 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, and a block. Pretty good shooting. De'Aaron Fox had 31, 5 and 5. 7 turnovers is a little bit high for me. But 11 of 20 shooting, 3 of 7 from three. Some pretty good, pretty good efforts going down the stretch. But that Luke Cornett block was pretty epic. Would you have anything to contribute? Anything to say about this game?
Yeah, for sure. I'd say from my perspective, the two main takeaways from each team. I'd say for sure on the Spurs side, um, definitely Luke Cornett's shining moment. This is what they were hoping for. Luke Cornett was brought into this team. Everyone was hyped that Wemby has his backup center, with this Celtic pedigree, and he just had not been there the entire season so far. He just was not living up to the hype. He was very much letting people down. And it was great. Last night, he really stepped up to the plate. He had a fantastic showing, 3 blocks, especially one to turn over the game. I think that was great. Great on Cornette to really be playing his role. And also, we're going to go back to the same argument that, the problem the Spurs are going to have to be dealing with until they make some big decisions. You can't have 3 guards, all of which can go off for, 15, 20 points on a single game. You can only start 2 guards. What are they going to do here? And Dylan Harper going for a 16, 5 and 5 game. He looks great. He really looks great. But Fox also looks great, and Castle also looks great.
Castle's out right now. But that's okay. That's fine. Vassell, who's forward guard, also, I would honestly add into that conversation. Like, they have this whole issue with exactly how to share the ball. Obviously, when Wemby's out, it looks even worse. Um, yeah, it's going to be very interesting moving forward, especially because, spoiler alert, there's kind of that Giannis discussion on the horizon. So we'll see what happens practically. Next, I want to go top performance. Nuggets beat the Pacers 135 to 120. This Pacers team is very surprisingly scrappy. I like the effort that Pascal Siakam is putting forward this year. It's not as good as last year, but he's primary option and exclusively the primary option. Um,
This is the only option.
yeah. Um, well, Benedict Mathurin has been okay, but the important part about this game was Jamal Murray had 52 points.
Yeah.
9 of 25, 10 of 11 from 3-point range. That's nuts. Anytime that you can, like, it's one thing for Jokic to set up all these guys, right? I think his name is Spencer Jackson, the rookie that they had out there for the last 2 games. Spencer Jones, thank you. He, that's one thing, but Jamal Murray has kind of, the last 2 or 3 games, I want to say, he's been like, okay, let me cook, 52 points is pretty nuts. This is the first time in NBA history within the first 22 games, I believe it was, that 3 teammates have all independently scored 50 points. Jokic, Jamal now, and Aaron Gordon at the beginning of the season, which was,
Crazy stat. Wow.
yeah, I saw it that, and I was like, that's the ESPN side I've ever seen one. Um, but honestly, in my heart of hearts, a surprisingly good effort from the Pacers team. They don't have a great record. They're 4-18, but it's better than I think a lot of people thought that they would be.
Yeah, I mean, I also want to give a quick shout out to TJ McConnell because he's always going to lock his minutes. Like he had 17 minutes and he filled up every stat. Just he was getting his forced stocks. He killed it. And it's a real shame. Levy knows I'm high on TJ being on the trade market because I think he could be of strong use to a contender right now. I think he's being left out of the marketing conversations. Like he should be on the move. Because it's a real shame to watch him suffering like here. But yeah, Jamal went off last night, and I know people don't realize that he is like a top 50 player right now, and um, he's just known, because everyone forgets that Jamal Murray plays before the playoffs.
Well, to be fair, he oftentimes comes into the season hurt or out of shape, and this season he came in firing on all cylinders. This Nuggets team they're pretty fierce. This was, by the way, a low end stat line for Jokic with 24, 8, and 13. Just a little game there.
Not if fantasy, trust me, I know. Jokic did not hold last night.
Okay, moving forward, Blazers beat the Cavs, 122 to 110. We spoke about it yesterday. We went through 1 through 15 of people in the league who are better than Denny. I got to about 13, and I would not allow any more slander. It was a little controversial. I said Devin Booker. I think this season has been worse than Denny. This season, he's been putting together really all NBA. This has been very, very impressive by Denny Avdia. I did not necessarily know that he had this in his bag for sure.
I don't think all NBA we're not there yet. I can do All Star, and if there was all NBA fourth team, that's a very strong argument for Denny.
The small forward position in this league right now is a little bit weak, honestly.
There are no positions in the All NBA teams anymore.
Fine, but I'm saying
Put him in at 15 to 20. I think 15 to 20 is a great range for Denny out right now, which is awesome. Last year he was top 50 maybe. This year we're talking about top 25. I think that's a fantastic argument. I also don't think Booker right now would be on an All NBA team. Like I can see that conversation. I don't think this is my bias, but I think there are a lot stronger candidates for that All NBA third gen right now. Like obviously I'm biased, but Austin Reeves significantly. I would give him that nod. I'd give Tyrese Maxey that nod. There are a lot of people that are under the radar that would definitely, in my opinion, take that spot.
Good. I'm glad that we're on the same page because these were people who were mentioned yesterday, actually. So I'm glad that I'm not a crazy person for having him on that list. But to be fair, this is the thing that we went over yesterday. Denny's right now 26, 7, and 6 on, I think, 48% field goal and 39% three. So it's an impressive season. I'm impressed by it. I think that he's doing a good job. This Trailblazers team, I think, doesn't have any business being as competitive as they are in most games that they're in.
Yeah.
But the overall level of play, as far as Klingon has brought it on, Tamani Kamara has really brought on the defense the past few games as well. So I'm happy to see it. Donovan Mitchell scored 33 with 5 and 5, 12 of 26 shooting. I don't know what the deal with Darius Garland is. I know that his toe is causing him problems, but I don't even know anymore. It's bitter.
I know not to bleed in different sports, but I think Darius Garland's kind of experiencing the Lamar Jackson phenomenon, where it's just claims injury. The injury probably is not it seems like the injury shouldn't be related to the performance. Lamar says his feet hurt, so he doesn't know where to throw the ball. Darius says he stubs his toe, so he can't score more than 6 points.
It was terrible.
It doesn't make sense.
It was really terrible last night. 2 of 13 from the field.
That's a crazy stat line for a starting.
It's just terrible. I really am a very big believer in Darius Garland. Actually, I think that he has got very, very good natural feel for the game. It's so sad. It's sad to see. But a very, very interesting game. Also, Caleb Love chipped in. Shaden Sharp chipped in. Yeah, I'm not a big believer in the Cavs of this season. I was last season until they absolutely imploded. Their offense just looks really messy. We spoke about it yesterday also. But the Trailblazers, I like them. I like how scrappy they are. I'm a very big fan.
They're a playing team. They're a strong playing team, and I think they can upset some. I think would be a fantastic game if the play-in ended up being Warriors Blazers. That would be a great playing game.
Very fun
basketball. Very different expectations.
And I would hear so much about how much Denny is foul baiting, and I just. It's everybody these days, though. I think everybody has a little bit. I'm not saying that Shea invented it. I'm just saying I think everybody's been like, oh, you can play like that. like whatever the ethical hoop nonsense, whatever. They've all been like, oh, okay, so then we're all gonna like Jokic has been doing it this season. Also, Luka for sure has been doing it. Like this is what this is where we're at in this time.
Yeah, out of hand a little bit, but
Yeah, I'm with you. But actually, it's funny because I think that I've been watching a lot of Shea. As much as there's been like the egregious calls where it's like Shea literally like looped his arm underneath a defender's arm. There's been stuff that I'm seeing that like he gets some of these fadeaway shots and it's like that shouldn't go in. That actually shouldn't go in. You're incredible at basketball. So it's very cool to see. Okay, next Knicks and Hornets. Knicks win 119, Hornets 104. Uh, Towns 35 and 18. He started off the first half very hot. That being said, they got 2 fouls or 3 fouls, I think, late in the first quarter on Diabate. There was literally no centers that could do anything against Karl Anthony Towns. He was aggressive in this game. That was good. I wonder if it's any correlation again to do with any Giannis provocation of I want to go to the Nets reportedly, but I mean I want to go to the Knicks. Well, Nets would be a big deal. Knicks. Um, I want to double down and do what Kevin Durant couldn't. But Jalen Brunson also chipped in with 26. This Hornets team is this Hornets team at this point. I think there's not much to extrapolate game to game.
Con the Hornets storyline for the last whatever it's been in the league through 2 months, it's Conconnipple. Like that's it. You hype him up, great game for a rookie. He looks fantastic. LaMelo maybe should consider retiring. Like the rest of the team, they're going to do what they're going to do. This is the storyline of what's Conconnipple going to turn into. Is he going to be the Hornets? Is he going to be a trade piece? But back to the Knicks. Deuce, man. Deuce looks great. I think he's the unsung hero of the Knicks having their 14-7 record right now.
There's a point at which he kind of like was limping around the court. That didn't look great. But the last few games have been very impressive on his end, and he should keep it up. He really needs to keep it up. I also want to give a little bit of credit to Josh Hart. 15, 8 and 8. He's been coming off the bench and really playing solidly for this Knicks team, very, very effectively for this Knicks team. Do you have a point that you wanted to make about Miles McBride?
Just unsung hero. I've been listening to a lot of New York hype up, and everyone's talking about the big, you got to give the gratitude to the others. And, Cat's been great. Brunson's been great. McBride's been definitely someone we got to nod our heads to. Also, when you bring bench, Deuce, and Yabusele, and everyone expected Yabusele to be that sixth man, you gotta, give the praise to the one that's actually pulling his weight.
Yeah. I also want to double back and just say that on this game alone throughout this season, I give props to LaMelo. He had 34, 9 and 8, 9 assists, 8 rebounds. You just need more production from him. He needs to be on the court. He's been on the court for some of the season, for more of the season that he's been in his history. But we need this more. We need this more. They still didn't win, obviously. Brandon Miller's been in and out with shoulder injuries. We'll see. We'll see as far as this team. Next, the Clippers finally get a win, 115-92. There's a stat yesterday about how through all these games, the first 22 games, Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic are scoring the most out of any other duo in the NBA. Second to them is James Harden and Kawhi Leonard. And everybody was like, it's the team surrounding him that's the issue. It's the same issue with Kawhi. If he played enough games next to James Harden during a season, they'd have more wins. I just feel like it's that simple. This Hawks team was absolutely depleted. No Jalen Johnson. James Harden had 27 and 9 assists. It's the only positive headline after the Chris Paul thing, I guess, for them, but it's still not great.
Yeah, I would say any Clippers discussion right now needs to be with a huge asterisk of absolutely no respect. You are a garbage franchise. What the heck is wrong with you? I saw someone posted this like stat of, if you look at the Clippers social media over the past 6 months, it's 70% of their posts are about Chris Paul's return. The other 30% of their posts are just score lines, and they've lost almost every game. So basically it's losing in Chris Paul. And what do you do with that information? You knock him out in the middle of the night.
Yeah, I saw somebody say they posted the same day that they're like, it's so good to have him home or something. The Clippers like official account, and they're like, they had no idea. And it's like, oof, like that hurts my heart. See, yeah, I by the way, the funny part about that is that also again, we still don't exactly know what it means that he's been sent home. Has he been waived? Has
Yeah, but
he been
there was an interview with the show with Buggy and Lou Williams. They
okay?
said, yeah, I think it was late earlier today, and it seems like Chris had this whole session in the locker room where he was going off on the other players, holding them accountable, which like he's known to do. He's been doing this for 20 years.
Yeah.
We're accountable. Apparently, him and Ty Lue haven't spoken in like a month, which is insane. And apparently he was sent home, and the idea is that they're going to start negotiating his buyout.
Okay. Well, until that happens, this is like this threatening. You know what I'm saying? It's very dramatic of him to do. It's very. I wrote in the group chat also. Maybe this is a consequence of him being on the Love Is Blind reunion. Like, dude, know your role, man. Like enough of this. Yeah, I don't. Just the Clippers, man. Just the Clippers. Okay, next, beat the Bulls 113 to 103. This Bulls team is in absolute free fall. I was a big believer in this Bulls team. I just like their energy. I like the flow. But in this game, Michael Porter Jr. had 33 points, 10 rebounds, and the Nets won consecutive game. This is wow. I didn't realize that. This is back-to-back games that they won for the first time this season. They beat the Bulls, and I don't even know what to do if you're the Bulls at this point. Noah Clowney put together 20 and 7 with the 6 3-pointers. Pretty impressive, I guess, for him, for the Nets team. Josh Giddey had 28, 11, and 11. Vucevic has seemed a little bit older, but he had 16 and 11. He's just moving a little bit slower. I don't think that Kobe White is the answer that the Bulls are looking for in this case. What do you Buzell is like he's been improved playing wise on defense especially, but what do you even do with this team at this point?
Yeah, I mean they were attempting what should have been. I was not high on them at the beginning of the season. I think they were attempting to do the impossible, which was turn a very 500 team and make it something that it wasn't. And the way they were doing it was using the method that seems to be working for a lot of teams, the Jokic centric offense. And here they were trying the Giddey centric offense. And was that sustainable for the first few weeks of the season when every other team was still flying their grounds? Yeah, for sure. In the beginning, also the East is significantly weaker, and they play a weaker schedule, especially Eastern teams. And um, yeah, could you hold up for a few games a Giddy oriented office where he's getting everyone involved, putting up his triple doubles? Sounds great. Is that sustainable? Absolutely not. As teams get their footing, as their schedule gets more complicated, as they're going against the better teams, I guess even when you're going against the Nets, it's not going to stick.
Okay, so we got to move a little bit quicker now. Pistons Bucks win 113, 109. Giannis goes down with a strained calf, I think, early in the game. Yeah, who knows? Because we've also reported from Shams that it's the same business as the summer. Him and his agent are exploring what the future looks like for Giannis Antetokounmpo. Soft launch of a trade request, other words for a trade request, who knows? But at this point, just do it already. Like pull the plug, please. The note from that I was interested in um was one of my follows on social media was the Zodiac GM, where you go through the zodiac signs of guys and teams. Love it, great fit. I asked him about Miles Turner's fit on the Cavs. If maybe Jarrett Allen could be replaced by Miles Turner, he says it's an A+ fit. I would be interested to see that. I think it'd be very, very interesting. To help them space the floor, to help them get better defense. They need like a Brook Lopez kind of guy, I feel like. But anyways, Kevin Porter Jr., 26 points. Ryan Rollins had another 22. This Pistons team, I feel like, kind of runs themselves into the ground often enough. They have a higher energy team. Cade shooting from three has been pretty abysmal over the past few games. Um, I think that they didn't want to bring it tonight, honestly. Like, just in watching them, they were kind of sluggish. They were kind of lazy. Um, and I just think this Bucks team is like, maybe the players are trying to show what they have to offer so that, whatever teams in the future who want to trade for Giannis might want to add them to the package. I don't know, but interesting. Very, very interesting to say the least.
Yeah, yeah. I think the big takeaway here is The Pistons took a night off, which they're allowed. Fifth loss is nothing to be ashamed of. And what's Giannis going to do next? Those are the main takeaways.
Yep. Next. Okay, Rockets 121 beat the Kings 95. This Kings team is in the same exact position as when we started the season. Russell Westbrook has the top stat line, but it's not a pretty one. It's 12, 4, and 9 on 5 of 13 shooting. Yikes. Şengün comes through against basically no defense with 28-10. Durant is there. Like it, varied scoring from everybody. Steven Adams, I love the resurgence of Steven Adams. Big Steven Adams guy. My question is, should NBA players who do stupid current celebrations like Russell Westbrook doing a 6-7 gesture, should they be fined lots of money so that people stop doing this kind of thing?
I I think imprisonment might be in order. In all honesty, I find it hilarious when the headline is that like the fourth oldest player in the league is trying to do like the whole little Gen Alpha 6-7 thing. Like it would be such a different storyline if it was like Dylan Harper getting up there doing a little of the 6-7 bit. When it's Russell Westbrook who won his MVP when I was, in high school, whatever. Like, no, not high school, but as like doing his little bit, it was cute. It was cute.
Who do we think
Trying
is the first? Who do we think is the first person traded off of this team? Like legitimate person traded off of this team.
I think that should and will be traded Zach LaVine because he'll just be wanted. Like he is just I think he's a good piece. Just any contender can just put him in. I know I'm higher on him than you are. Like just he's a shooter. If you give him the role of just what he did back in the day, he can dunk and he can shoot, and don't let him do anything else. If he has an open lane, if he has an open shot, give him the ball.
Yeah, I just think that the same issue comes back to the contract. It's just a terrible contract. I think that likely, in my eyes, either Monk or Ellis. Just because,
So disgusting. Why is the fact that Keanu Ellis is getting last night aside, it was a bad game. Schroeder getting more minutes than Ellis is crazy. Like, how are you going to develop a young team if you're giving Schroeder how many minutes does he have a night? Like 30?
yeah, the answer is too many. However many it is, it's way too many. Keanu Ellis belonged on a competitive team. We did a whole piece on him over the summer. Max did, and when you look at his percentages actually in relevant situations where he's scoring and playing defense, he just needs the opportunity. I don't understand why this Kings team, like, at least trade him something, anything.
100%. He's a great off the bench defensive guard. He can do a lot.
Yeah. All right. Next and last game of the night, the Mavs beat the Heat 118-108. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the 2011 finals that always makes this team. It's like Patriots versus Giants for me. Like, it's just nostalgia and the perfect like I don't know if it works the same way with the Giants, the Patriots. Not really, but more so with these teams, like the red and the blue against each other, especially because they wore the away jerseys and the Mavericks wore their alternate jerseys. I loved it. I love watching these two teams, especially because it was a more competitive game. Cooper Flax scored 22. Anthony Davis had 17 rebounds. Ryan Nembhard, he's they give a distributing point guard minutes on this Mavs team that desperately needed distributing point guard minutes, and apparently he becomes Steve Nash with 15 and 13 on 6 of 10 shooting, 3 of 3 from 3. Like, I don't know a player that had an effective minutes this kind of impact this quickly, which is crazy because we've had a couple guys this season like just pop up out of nowhere and have Jenkins, Dennis Jenkins, right? This is kind of seems more impactful, which is nuts. Yeah,
Yeah, I huge kudos to Ryan Nembhard. I think he's been absolutely fantastic. I think I've seen a lot of rhetoric online that everyone thought the Mavs needed a point guard. They're good. Like they have they have Kevin Durant. We have Jaden McDaniels. Like no. Having Ryan Nembhard is not enough to suffice the point guard hole on the Mavs. I think there are fantastic trades out there, and I know who I think should go to the Mavs, but you should not be relying on Ryan Nembhard. He's great. 15, 13, and 5 is a fantastic stat line for a guy off the bench that no one, like half the world hasn't heard of before. But Let's not get there. Remember when Dennis Jenkins was the hottest name in the NBA last week? Like, let's not, you know.
The question I have for you is, who is the better Nemhard brother? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, doesn't matter now. Um, this is, I feel like, the closer version of the Heat that we were all expecting. Not as competitive night tonight necessarily. I think that also adding all these guys back in and guys going out with injuries and this, that, and the other, just kind of made their function weird. Khalil Ware also not getting as many minutes because Eric Spoelstra was trying stuff out. It's it's a little bit strange how much of a pace stopper this team has gone through in the last week. Um, and I just feel like when you have a point guard like Ryan Nemhard, who's 5'10", I think on a good day, do this against Davion Mitchell, you kind of got to look at yourself in the mirror and say, like, okay, we got to go back to the drawing board at least a little bit here. Um, could that be a segue into the next part of the conversation? Yeah. Last segment on this. Where do we think Giannis is going?
I'm gonna put Lakers to the side. I can't say Lakers. I'm gonna put that. It's not gonna happen.
I don't know how that's going to happen, honestly. It doesn't make any, like, they have the picks, I get it, but
The last time there was a powerful, incredible guard on the Lakers, and there was a big man on the Bucks looking for a move, we know what happened. But it was the reverse order back in the day. But I think Giannis's big three stops. If I had to put my money on it, I'd go Knicks. Obvious answer. I think they would be a fantastic contender with him on there, and it'd be a great fit. I think next bit, I'd love to see him in San Antonio. They have a guard to move, and putting Giannis next to Wemby, that's it. Like, no one's ever scoring ever again against the Spurs. And I would say that the last piece, which I think is the greatest move, I think if they can wait a bit, end of season, trade him to the Pacers. So when Tyrese comes back, you get Giannis and Tyrese together. That would be an incredible team. Surround them with the pieces that they have, whoever they can keep. Naismith, Nemhard. That's an amazing, amazing setup. So I'd go Knicks 1, Spurs 2, Pacers 3.
it's very difficult for me to really wrap my head around any of these contests because it's kind of like the Kevin Durant thing. Whoever you're trading for Giannis is going to greatly impact this team's ability to then contend moving forward. Some part of me feels like the Jazz have just enough in the tank to figure something out without having to trade Lowry and keeping Keontae George and just providing shooting around him. Maybe your Walker Kessler. What's this Silitowski? Like the thing is that you have all these young players. I don't even know if you have to trade Ainge in this situation, and you have all these picks that you can give them because they have Ainge's, the motherload of picks. I feel like it's possible as compared to like the Warriors. I just like there's not enough of the surrounding pieces to be able to make it happen. And the Warriors have been like waiting for forever to make this happen. And like they traded for Jimmy last year, and like that was like their supposedly according to reports that was like their big holdup. I don't know, but I feel like the Jazz are a dark horse contender for that if he ever wanted to go to the Jazz. But it sounds like he just wants to go to the Knicks. But the Bucks don't really want Karl-Anthony Towns, which, to be honest with you, I don't blame them. I don't blame them. But also, on that note, Giannis next to Karl-Anthony Towns, I think would be great.
Yeah, if they could somehow move pieces around where they keep Cat in that trade. I mean, you have the offensive big and the defensive big. That's the dream.
You allow him to roam, and on games that Cat feels like an offensive juggernaut, like he did last night, awesome. Anyways, okay. Thank you, Joseph, for coming on the pod. So that was our daily basketball recap. A little bit longer today than it usually is. I want to thank you all for listening. I want to thank you all for just caring, just caring about the Giannis situation enough to have it circulate the web. People look at his social media posts and what he deleted when, how far back he's gone to delete things. Come on. You gotta love it. NBA drama. And I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.